Good evening and welcome to the West Milton Council meeting, March 10th, 2020. I'd please ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Steve from Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we ask that you will help us to be aware of your presence, especially now. We pray for your blessings upon the leaders of this community, that you will enable them,
help them to lead, filling them with wisdom and good judgment. We pray for your blessings as well upon all the citizens of West Milton, that this will continue to be a place of peace and goodwill. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Miller,
Present.
Land,
Here.
Cobb, Hurst, Horn, Tracy, and Dews is absent.
Councilman Dukes calls the first thing. Apologize, everybody was a little under the weather and thought the best to stay.
Understand. Thank you. Sarah was absent. Excuse me. Councilwoman Kopp was absent from our last workshop. Are there any motions to excuse?
I'll make a motion to excuse Councilmember Kopp.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb, Hurst,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Council members should have received minutes for the meeting of February the 11th and workshop on February the 25th. Are there any motions for those minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb, Hurst,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Manager Klein, is there any correspondence for council this evening?
None this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Tonight, there are four pieces of legislation on the agenda for tonight. The first is a resolution to amend the job classifications. One is a construction connecting the service garage, a resolution authorizing manager to enter into a contract with RACP, and then a resolution in amending an engineering contract for the Ludlow Falls sewer. Is there any comments tonight on legislation by citizens? Okay. Seeing none. First up is CM-20-08, a resolution to amend resolution CM-19-16. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution to amend Resolution CM-19-16, a revised organizational structure with job classifications by title, staff levels, and assigned pay grades with ranges. Whereas on September 10, 2019, Council passed Resolution CM-19-16, a revised organizational structure with job classifications by title, staff levels, and assigned pay grades with ranges. And whereas the municipal manager has recommended a revision to the pay grade listing for the position of Plant Operator 1-2 for the Division of Wastewater. And whereas Council has reviewed the proposed revision and wishes to implement the changes as recommended by the manager. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the following pay grade listing for Plant Operator 1-2 for the Division of Wastewater shall be modified as follows. Office Division or Department with position classification titles, Division of Water, Plant Operator 1-2, Staff Level 2, pay grade goes from 4 to 5. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest date permitted by law, and all other ordinances or resolutions or parts of ordinances or resolutions in conflict with this resolution are hereby rescinded.
Thank you. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we discussed at the last workshop, We do have an opening at the wastewater treatment plant for an operator. In reviewing what all other communities are paying, we actually are underpaying for that operator's position. And in hopes to attract at least some decent applicants, we're recommending that we should bump this from a level 4 to a level 5.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion by council? Any motions?
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution CM-20-08 as written.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Hertz.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next up is CM-20-11, which is a resolution for construction of a connection to the service garage. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution to award a contract for the construction of a connection to the service garages. Whereas council has determined that connecting the two service garage buildings will make the service department more efficient and improve the sanitary conditions for the employees. And whereas the 2020 budget included $80,000 for this project. And whereas this project has been properly bid according to Chapter 33 of the Code of Ordinances. And whereas the bidding process produced an acceptable contractor to perform said project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council awards a contract to Mendenhall Builders and Contractors, LLC of Piqua, Ohio, in the amount not to exceed $60,000. Section 2, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to execute all the proper documents and contracts required to complete said project. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in force from and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor. Essentially, at the service garage, we have two buildings. They're approximately 40 to 50 feet apart, not quite, maybe 40 feet apart. And it just makes more sense to connect them and allow us to go from one building to another, from going one piece of equipment to another. But it also allows for Ben's men to have an actual place that would be a little more sanitary, that they could eat lunch, wash their hands, et cetera, after a hard day's labor. So we had, as the ordinance says, or the resolution says, we did budget or estimated an $80,000 cost on this when we budgeted. The bid that came in actually was just under 50. It was 49,000 and change. However, Ben and I have never seen a project when you build something that doesn't have some sort of a change order. So that's why we were just recommending 60,000, not to exceed 60,000. We know that we can stay well under that. We had a good interview with the low bidder, Mendenhall from Piqua. We're sure that he can do it for his bid price, but better to be safe than for us to come back and ask for $1,000 more for something.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by council? Any emotions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept CM-20-11 as written.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb. Yes. Hertz.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Tracy. And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next up is a resolution authorizing the manager to enter into a contract. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with the Rural Community Assistance Partnership to administer the CDBG Residential Public Infrastructure Grant for the Ludlow Falls Sanitary Sewer Project. Whereas pursuant to Resolution CM-19-15, the municipal manager was authorized to apply to the Ohio Development Services Agency for CDBG Residential Public Infrastructure Program funding necessary to finance a portion of the Ludlow Falls Sanitary Sewer Project. And whereas pursuant to the same resolution, the Rural Community Assistance Partnership was authorized to prepare and submit the electronic application to the Ohio Development Services Agency for CDBG Residential Public Infrastructure Program funding. And whereas the Village of West Milton has been approved for a CDBG grant in the amount of $20,000, and whereas the municipal manager believes it to be in the village's best interest to have RCAP administer the CDBG grant for the village. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a contract with the Rural Community Assistance Partnership for the administration of the CDBG grant attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein as if fully rewritten. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force upon full passage and as soon as authorized by the State of Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council that resulted in such formal actions were in a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor. It's self-explanatory, really. RCAP is the organization that has helped both us and Ludlow Falls to acquire all of our grants, starting with the Army Corps of Engineers $1 million grant. This is all about the Ludlow Falls Sanitary Sewer Project. It's been going on for almost 5 years now. We do have it fully funded. The Village of Ludlow Falls currently has just septic systems. We're going to have a project that's going to take all of their sanitary sewer, get rid of their septic systems. They'll go to a lift station. It will be force main to us and make its way to Donna Jane. So RCAP has helped us with the Army Corps of Engineers. You may have noticed or saw the press announcement from Ohio EPA. We received another $1 million from them. The CDBG is actually a $600,000 grant, and we'll get another one from OWDA for another $500,000. So it's $3.1 million in grants and forgivable loans. This language is word for word what RCAP sent us. There's a whereas there that I think a motion should be made to amend, because I just caught it. They gave me the language, so I just assumed it was correct. But this should say, whereas the Village of West Milton has been approved for a CDBG grant in the amount of $600,000, not $20,000. So if someone could make that motion, because that would reflect the actual grant amount that RCAP received for us. So that's my bad. They gave me the language, and I just put it to form. So we would probably need a motion to amend that whereas from 20 to 600, and then do a motion to approve.
Very good. I would just like to say first, real quick, that the hard work of Manager Klein, that the hard work of Ben, Heron, and all the service guys, I just want to stress that it is highly unusual to be able to take a project like this and get it fully funded where there's not any taxpayer money going towards that. And it's really incredible. We're very fortunate to be able to get these funding sources, and I think that's fabulous. It's going to save, especially Ludlow Falls residents, a ton of money every month on their sewer bill. And so I would just kind of like to stress that you don't see that kind of a project getting funded, fully funded. So that's pretty great. So good job, guys. I think that you guys have done a hell of a job. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'll get off my little soapbox here. So, are there any motions for the resolution?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we amend the whereas of the CDBG grant in the amount of $20,000 be changed to $600,000 on resolution CM 2012.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Are there any motions considering resolution CM-20-12 now?
I'll make a motion to accept CM-20-12 as amended.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right. Last up tonight is a resolution amending the engineering contract for the Ludlow Falls sewer. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution amending Resolution CM-18-13, a contract with Choice One Engineering for the design of the sanitary sewer connection with the village of Ludlow Falls. Whereas the municipality of West Milton, on behalf of Ludlow Falls, was awarded a grant in the amount of $1,075,000 from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for the design and construction of a sanitary sewer connection in 2018. And whereas council authorized a contract with Choice One Engineering in the amount of $239,300 for the purpose of engineering and design of the sanitary sewer system connection through the passage of CM-18-13, passed on April 10th, 2018. And whereas it is necessary for additional work and redesign to avoid the need for easements on private property and to amend the permit to install as authorized by the Ohio EPA. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, Council authorizes the municipal manager to execute the proper contractual documents with Choice One Engineering of Sydney, Ohio, for this additional work in the amount of $21,000, bringing the total contract for this work to $260,300. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brush. Manager Klein?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second piece of legislation regarding the Ludlow Falls sewer. I've asked Tom, I gave Tom an engineer's drawing. It's not Lene.
It's not me.
To put up on the screen, so, okay. So if you can see it, see the red line. The red line was the original engineering that was done for the sanitary sewer. Ludlow Falls would be to your left of this drawing. This is between Markley Road and Donna Jane. Donna Jane is on the far right, okay? So that red line is where it had to cross several pieces of private property, nearly a dozen, not quite. And we started negotiations with several of the property owners, and the demands for signing off on the easement started to become a little cost prohibitive, we'll say. And because of this, the engineer estimate for this project was $3.1 million, and because we got grants for $3.1 million, I'm trying to stay under budget. So we discussed this with Choice One, and a better option that doesn't require any easements is you will see that there's a yellow line, and that is, ignore the green. That was just another option when we were talking. There's a yellow line that goes right along the western border of North Miami, or in this particular case, State Route 48. It goes down to Donna Jane and then makes a turn to the east and goes all the way down to Donna Jane. This would be force main, all force main until you get to Donna Jane, and then it would gravity down. Or it might actually be force main all the way through Donna Jane, I'm sorry. It's force main all the way through Donna Jane to, there's a manhole at that cul-de-sac. The engineer's estimate on doing it this way is actually a little over $450,000 less in construction costs. Now, having said that, it does need to be re-engineered. So engineered drawings have to be submitted back to Ohio EPA to amend their PTI, permit to install. And the Army Corps of Engineers has to do an environmental review of that area. We have no concerns on any of that, but simply put, there is additional engineering cost of $21,000 with a estimate of savings of over $450,000. So if we can save over $450,000 on a $3.1 million project and we have $3.1 million in grants, we should be under budget.
With it running across 48 and then straight down Donna Jane, what's the construction? Will the road work be?
It's all in the state highway. There's none on private property, and it's all going to be bored. When you do gravity sewers, you have to go lower. A gravity sewer obviously has to go downhill. When you have a pump station and a force main can be shallower. So that's why you're also saving quite a bit of cost, because you're not going through that red line. You're not going through any rock.
Okay. Will any streets that are tore up, are they going to get?
The only street
Repaved,
that
or?
potentially could have some tear up would be Donna Jane, and it would be repaved,
All right. Thank you.
except in front of her house. We won't repave in front of. No, actually, the bid specs will say repaving of Donna Jane from curb to curb.
Very good. Thank you. Any discussion for the resolution? Any motions?
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution CM-20-13 as written.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on to the manager's report. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Guests, this evening, I'd like to welcome Mr. Grafflin's AP Senior Government class. For those in the audience, and especially for our TV audience, just stay tuned. Mr. Grafflin's class will be holding their own council meeting right after ours. So we will, after we adjourn, there'll probably be about a 5-minute break there, and then we'll go straight into to their class and their council meeting. So welcome. It's always a good time to have you guys here. Have just a few things. Would like to bring forth a couple names for consideration to council on appointments. I'd like to bring forth Brian Wrench as a member of the Park Board. Park Board has had an opening for quite a while, we were able to interview Mr. Wrench and believe he'd be a great fit for the Park Board. I'll do each name separately, but each name does need concurrence and/or approval by council in a voice vote.
Okay. Are there,
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Brian Wrench to the Park Board.
Yes.
a second?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None? All right.
Thank you. We also have an opening, we've had an opening for a while since Mr. Land got elected to council on the Personnel Review Board. We'd like to bring forth the name Jessica Jacoby. Has been a resident for most of her life here and has been active in the village. And I think with her background and professionalism, she'd be a great fit for the Personnel Review Board.
Very good, thank you. Motion?
I will make a motion to appoint Jessica Jacoby to the Personnel Review Board.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
I've been updating council, and if it's all right, since Mr. Grafflin's class was here at our last workshop, piece of legislation that was missing this evening was our paving program. We did not bring that forth because it was brought to our attention that the paving program needs to include ADA compliant crosswalks at the intersections. And we've researched it. It's absolutely correct that we need to do that. So we pulled the legislation. What we're doing now is Ben will be putting together bid specs for that type of work with Choice One. And we'll put that out to bid. We did get a cost estimate on that from a local contractor who does that sort of work. We're probably looking at almost $2,000 per, and there's probably, I think there's 22 ramps, and we've shared that information with you. Obviously, we'll know once we put it out to bid what that actual cost will be, and we'll bring that to a workshop for us at a later date. Who knows what it's going to do? We may not have the money for it this year. We may have to just roll over this year's paving projects to next year and do a bigger project with next year's money as well as this year's money. So obviously stay tuned, but that's why tonight's legislation wasn't present. Just to let you know, planning board, oh yes, I'm sorry.
I have a couple questions about that.
Sure.
How do we choose what needs to be, and maybe this is a question for you, how do we choose what we're going to pave and when? I just wondered if that money's appropriated, if
there's something else that needs it more? Because it sounds like this is going to be a 50% increase in the cost, essentially.
It could be a 40% increase,
Yeah.
yes.
So really, we rate street 1, 2, and 3, basically. The rating not only includes the condition of the street, because we have multiple streets that are kind of in, say, the 2 range. It would include how long it's been since it's been paved. For the residents' sake, there's about 5 factors that go into it. So at any given year, we always have at least 2 to 3 priority 1 streets. So, I mean, this is fairly new, but I know we can definitely discuss at the workshop. I can have maybe 5 different options at the workshop with pretty good numbers.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
Planning board met this week, last week. And you may recall a couple new members on council, but previously, maybe 6 months ago, I think, there was an application for zoning change at the Stone Meadows subdivision. Council did approve a half-acre lot to be rezoned from business to R1A. But the planning board required a concept drawing for the other 5.5, 6 acres that had been requested. That concept drawing has been approved and is now in engineering for a preliminary plat. Therefore, they voted to recommend going from a B3 to an R1. I'm just informing you now. Obviously, we'll do we'll talk about it at the workshop. We'll do legislation. We'll include a public hearing. It's always 2 readings. But I just wanted to put that on your mind on the calendar for the next couple months. And then I've been getting some calls. People have been getting information in the mail and seeing all these little flags in their yard. There is a fiber optic company from Evansville, Indiana, that actually started here in Miami County in Troy. And it's called MetroNet. So if you see some envelopes or some postage from letters from MetroNet informing you that they'll be bringing fiber to the home. This is not a promotional thing by me. I'm just stating out the facts that that's what it is. It's, I guess you would call it a competitor with Spectrum. Anyway, they'll be working in the right-of-ways. They have submitted plans several months ago. Each of those plans have been reviewed and approved, but they'll be working in the right-of-ways. If it's underground, they will have to remain underground. They will be on overhead poles mostly, because that's mostly what we have here in town, except for the small neighborhoods that have underground. We have several neighborhoods where the power lines are in your rear yards, so you may see MetroNet employees stringing up their lines, and then they'll be advertising to each and every one of you to see if you want to join their service. So they just will be starting here in another week or so. They started actually in Troy middle of last year. They decided on a Troy, Tip City, Vandalia, Inglewood, Union, West Milton. So you'll start seeing their trucks here in the next several months.
Did they give you any timeline, like when that would be completed or when we could?
Completed, no.
Okay.
But this year.
Okay.
They're ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, they're about 2 or 3 months ahead of schedule. The winter was very kind to them.
Good. Thank you.
I think that's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to any old business by council. No? Any new business? No? Do you? I have a few things here, so just kind of bear with me. The first one is the Union Township cleanup is going to be on April the 25th. This is a cleanup effort. They're looking for volunteers to help clean up from the tornado damage. The sign up is at livingcityproject.org. Or if you have any questions, you can contact the Miami County Planning Office at 937-440-8123. Again, that's on April the 25th, and they're just looking for volunteers to help clean up any tornado damage around the township. Something else that I kind of wanted to put the word out for was for Becky Garrett and the Bulldog Bags. She has a Food Steps 5K. That's going to be on March 21st at the Milton Union School. And I don't have a time for that, and I apologize. So when we get that, I will be happy to forward that information out. But that's on March 21st. I know it's all over the news right now, which is the coronavirus. And I know we have a number for everybody that you guys can call. If you have any questions, the Ohio Department of Health has put out a 1-833 number. It's up there on the screen. Manager Klein and the administration has been in contact with the Miami County Health District. As of right now, there are no concerns. So if anything changes, we'll be sure to get the word out. But right now, there's nothing else to really report. But there is something that Councilman Dorman asked me to pass out or get the word out, which is we're still in the middle of flu season, and which is a good reminder to make sure that we're just washing our hands. If you do cough, make sure that you're covering your mouth and nose, avoid any close contact. And please, if anybody is feeling sick or if you are sick, stay home. Please, that'll save everybody a big headache. So if at any point in time you are starting to feel sick, please call your primary care provider. But I just wanted to kind of help remind everybody that those few little facts there. So.
Okay, take that back. I do have new business.
See, I knew you'd have something.
I know. Well, I thought about the senior class being here, and you guys, are you looking for any hours still to get in for community service? Anybody? See some of you girls? Okay. Well, late April, we'll be doing some cleanup downtown and flower planting, and we would love to have any of you help. And if you're interested, you can contact me, the city. You can get my number. You can come down to Revive It. That's where I work, and talk to me there, and I can put you to work. We have a Facebook page called Project Revival where we will be listing the date of like our flower planting and cleanup and whatnot, and we're going to be we need help with watering and all of that stuff. So we would love to have your help, and you can bring your friends along with you.
And it always looks good. You guys do an awesome job.
Yeah, we need to add some more pots this year. They're breaking. So that was it.
Thank you.
I didn't know they were here.
Yeah.
Ms. Kopp should stick around for the senior council, this senior council legislation. You might be interested in one of the pieces of legislation they have.
Okay. Yeah, I'm planning on sticking around.
Any comments by citizens this evening? Please, just.
I'd take a minute first to thank Manager Klein for reviewing the data that I dropped off to him earlier this week. He sees that there's a passion and an issue. He's discussed the project on behalf of those with mediating accessibility issues. Thank you. You're welcome.
Good evening, Wade Westfall, 116 South Market, downtown Troy, 4499. Say hello and introduce myself to those who do not know me. I'm seeking the office of Miami County Commissioner for January 3rd position. I'm a lifelong resident of Miami County, with roots dating back to its founding. Born and raised in Pickle. I've been married to my wife Susan for 36 years. We were blessed to raise our 4 children on a farm in Miami School District. Now we live in downtown Troy, where we go to safety demolition. I'm a proud grandfather of 4. We're members of Kingsburg United Methodist Church in Tip City for the past 25 years. In my work organizing baseball leagues, serving on nonprofit boards, committees, downtown redevelopment, business creation, and as a former county commissioner, I've always been willing to serve and work with others to achieve real results. I do so with a passion to make our community and our nation a little better. Our municipalities and villages are the economic engines through which our county prospers. It should not be an either-or relationship, but rather a fully integrated process, striving to provide seamless and cost-effective services to the citizens. I want to see Miami County continue to strive to be the healthy, thriving community and county that it is. I thank you for this opportunity and thank you for your dedication and your service to your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Greg Dixon. I am also running for Miami County Commissioner. This year, there are 3 seats open. One is uncontested. One has 2 candidates in the Republican primary, and one of these seats has 3 candidates for in the Republican primary for the open seat that was vacated by Jack Evans. Jack retired. And so there's no open seat, so no one is running against an incumbent in that seat. And Mr. Westfall is a candidate for that seat also, of the January 3rd seat. I live in Newton Township, so I just live up the road, west of Pleasant Hill, with my wife, Jody, who raises peacocks. So I would like to bring a little bit of country and maybe the western portion of Miami County to that county commission. It's conceivable that after the election, there could be 3 commissioners who all have Troy, Ohio zip codes. I want to try to bring some diversity to that with my candidacy from Pleasant Hill and Newton Township. My experience is that I was law director of the city of Troy for more than 25 years. And in 2008, I was elected Miami County Juvenile and Probate Court Judge. So I worked for the county then for 10 years, retiring in 2008 because I was prohibited from running for re-election because I was too old. I hope you don't hold that against me. The Ohio Constitution provides that you cannot be a candidate for a judge in Ohio if you're past the age of 70. Now, I know many of you are surprised to hear that the Constitution provides that. Hopefully, all of you are really surprised that I meet that criteria and I'm available to do that. But in any event, as the Juvenile and Probate Court Judge, I supervised over 100 employees in the juvenile court and probate courts. I had budgets that totaled $6 million. So I have recent experience, both supervisory and in the budgetary process, where I had to present a budget to the commission every year, balance it, report back to them, and work in that manner with all of the other elected officials. My platform is that we need to be mindful of the budget. We have a surplus right now. I think I would like to protect the surplus to the extent that we can. We always need to worry about buildings and streets out in the county. You have your own problems in the city. Health insurance for our county employees is a priority of mine, and I'm here, as is Mr. Westfall, because we believe communication with the villages and the townships are present. He and I have been to several meetings together, as he does the same thing and believes the same way that I do, at least in that respect. I believe the commission, just as this council is, you're in the personal service industry. That's what the county commission is. The county sees thousands of people every month in some capacity, whether it's to file a deed, go to the BMV, go to court, go to planning and zoning, and do all of those things. I want to make sure that we keep up the respect and courtesy that we provide to all of you and to all of the citizens of Miami County if elected. If you only remember one thing as you move, as we leave today, remember Dixon, and that X marks the spot on the ballot. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you, both candidates. I wish you the best of luck, and appreciate you guys making the effort to attend our meeting. And if you guys are successful, please don't forget us out here, you know, the towns and other municipalities. So we do appreciate working with the county and all the effort that they put forward, and hopefully we'll be working with you guys. Any other comments? Seeing none. Any motions for tonight?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Please stick around. The senior class is going to have their council meeting tonight, so we'll hand it over to them. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like for everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please remain standing for a prayer.
God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the people gathered here today. Help us to work together, not against each other, and please help us make decisions to better our village. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to officially call this meeting to order. I'd like to open the floor to comments from citizens regarding tonight's legislation.
Mr. Mayor, can you list the legislation that you guys are proposing tonight?
Tonight's legislation, we have ordinance MU-20-01, which regards the encouragement of the transition of the senior center to a community center. Whenever we talk about that later on during our ordinances and resolutions section, I'll get a bit more in depth about that. And then our other ordinance, which is just a resolution, is supporting the implementation of Project Revival for the central downtown of West Milton. I would now like to begin talking about MU-20-01, which is the community center ordinance. If Law Director Nutley or Manager Morty would like to talk about that, that would be great.
Ordinance MU-20-01, an ordinance encouraging the transition of the senior center to a community center. Whereas the Milton Union AP Government Senior Council, through our experience and understanding that there is a need for everybody, no matter what age, to have a place to gather for socialization and entertainment. And whereas the Milton Union AP Government Senior Council has received various complaints on the lack of gathering space and suggestions that both younger and older generations could share a common area for such a purpose. And whereas the potential of all generations to share and gather in a common space could provide unlimited community spirit. Now, therefore, it be ordained that the Milton Union AP Government Senior Council, that Section 1, Council hereby proposes the West Milton Senior Center be transformed into a community center which caters to the citizens of every age. Section 2, as a council, we ask that the Village of West Milton Union Township, the Council of Churches, and the Milton Union School Board work together on planning, funding, and implementation of creating and providing a community center. In Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect immediately after the first reading and approval by council.
Yeah, so I think as a whole, we all agree that there's a lack of a space for not only older generations, but younger generations as well. I know in the past, a lot of kids choose to just go to McDonald's and hang out with their friends rather than actually doing something that could be a little bit more fun and entertaining for them. So with the idea of the community center, we would like to expand if we could, but we would like to talk with the school board about that because we would be having to go into Lowry for that, so we would need to talk to them about that. We would also like to add more games in there like ping pong, air hockey, stuff like that, and make classes available such as Zumba, maybe art classes, yoga, things of that sort for everyone to gather and have a good time. So, yeah.
Thank you. I would like to vote on ordinance MU-20-02. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mayor Knipp.
I apologize. Would anyone like to motion to accept?
I motion to accept.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Knipp.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
City Manager Mortar.
Yes.
Chief of Police Tennerman.
Yes.
Law Director Nutley.
Yes.
Service Director Grisham is not here today. And council members Peck.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Reisteller.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
And Searcy.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we're going to be moving into our old business. We have no old business. So we're not going to do that part. But that's an excellent segue into the new business, which we do have quite a bit about. If anyone would like to start with that, that would be great.
I would like to suggest that on the street J, the intersection of J and Market, there's that mirror there that makes it kind of hard to like see where you're going. And I know that like me personally, I've had to like scoot up pretty far in order to like see what's coming and what's going. And I would like to suggest to make that an all-way stop to make it safer.
I think we can all generally agree about that. That intersection area right there is pretty messy as it is. It's an engineering nightmare, I'm sure, for the people who had to implement it. The road placement just isn't the greatest, I don't think, but I think it could definitely be better. I think an all-way stop is something that, no slander to the council, but I think it's wild that it hasn't been considered or implemented by now. It's something we can definitely vote on in the future, and something I'd like to consider and research more about.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a safety concern because every time I get there, I'm like waiting and waiting and waiting and just like looking and praying that I don't hit anyone or nobody hits me because, and eventually you just go and then, yeah.
I have to pull my car so far forward that like the cars going in another direction might hit me.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
It's not
I
fair.
agree.
Any further discussion on the road repairs, new business? Is there any other new business that would like to be discussed?
I would like to talk about park cleanup. We had some discussion about this previously, and we don't have everything worked out yet, but we would like to add a volleyball court. I know that there used to be one by the river, but I think it would be better if it was by the shelters, because then there wouldn't be as much water damage, I feel like. Do we all agree that it could go by the shelters, or does anyone have any other idea to where it can go?
I think it also could go in the community center or outside of the community center if we wanted to do sand volleyball. Just because the hill, the water could run down into it. I don't know how much that would be a problem, but I mean, I don't see why it couldn't go there.
Also, we would like to repair the baseball diamond at the park. I know the backstop is a little messed up over the years, so we would like to repair that and just the diamond overall. And we would also like to add gardens to the park. Like you mentioned earlier, gardens is definitely a big thing that we wanted to do, just add some color and some pop to the park, a little extra something. We were thinking vegetable gardens and flower gardens. So I'm thinking we could put a flower garden around the memorial. Not exactly sure where we could put a vegetable garden though. I don't think it's there anymore.
I think a community garden would be a really good idea, especially a vegetable garden. And I was talking about this with my parents actually before I came here today, and they think it'd be a great idea for the community. And then every week or so we could have like a little farmer's market for a town that attracts like our citizens and maybe people from outside of West Milton and the areas surrounding it. And I just think that could be a good thing for our community to again come together and for a better purpose. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I've spoken in past meetings about my respect for this municipality and for our town in general. I love it more than anything, but something that's big to me is appearance. I want to appear like a place that people don't just think of as another village. I want to be a home for people that have never been here. And I think that our appearance and how we present ourselves to others is a big deal in that. And I feel like somewhere that people feel comfortable coming to for like a farmer's market and that sort of idea, or a community garden would be big. Not only would it just be something for our community members, but it'd be something that would create a name for ourselves more than anything other than just the place that has the 4th of July parade and the 4th of July carnival. So I love that idea, in full support of it.
I think it would encourage more health, encourage people to eat healthier, be motivated by that, and see their friends going down to the community garden, getting stuff from the farmer's market. I feel like it could be good for everyone, so yeah.
I agree. Does anyone else have any new business they'd like to discuss?
I would like to open the idea of a sort of spring fling thing. We have, as Mayor Nip presented earlier, we have the 4th of July parade and the carnival. And we also have a fall fling thing, but it would be nice to have a sort of spring thing that we can do, because the time between December and July is such a big gap where there's nothing really going on. So it would be nice to have another opportunity to create more community, to come together and have time together, just be something that people can look forward to, as well as having economic growth for our city or village.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think food trucks are a big thing right now. They're very popular. I feel like it attracts many people. We could do maybe a cornhole tournament, poker, stuff of that sort, have a live band. Yeah, and arts and crafts for kids, maybe face painting, stuff of that sort. Yeah, I think.
I agree. Like we spoke about this earlier today when we were kind of rehearsing this meeting and preparing some of our ideas about it. It's good for the city, of course. It's good for the people in it. But whether we're thinking with our heart or thinking with our head, money is money and business is business. And I think economic growth of any kind and economic stimulation is always going to be something that we will be incredibly grateful for in the village, and it's something that we should look forward to whenever we have those opportunities. I love this idea. I'm in I have full support, and I hope to see it go somewhere. Anyone else have any new business they'd like to discuss?
With the spring coming up, and we all remember what happened last spring with the tornadoes, I would like more of a well-known relief group for our city to go to if we need it, because last year we made our own little relief groups and we're like searching for places to go. I would like somewhere to go connect and get sent out rather than just trying to find our own places to go, because we were all just kind of scrambling in a panic, and I would like some structure to help us along with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good idea to have someone in charge sending people places ahead of time, having groups, because I know me, when I was out helping, I was feeling kind of panicked, and I feel like in that type of situation, something terrible already happened. People don't need to be even more stressed out than they need to be, because their homes have been torn apart, or their friends' homes have been torn apart, and I just think that something more organized would really help relieve some stress for everyone. So, yeah.
And going back to the community center, I think that it would be a good idea to also use that as a sort of meetup where we could leave a storage of water for people who have been affected, or non-perishable foods, or clothing for people who have gone through that kind of tragedy.
Mm-hmm. And if for some reason it goes a while, I know we talked about this earlier, if the food doesn't get used for a very long time, which actually let's hope that doesn't happen, because then that means no more tornadoes, we could always donate that to Bulldog Bags to support some of the children that go through our school system, so they can have that and we can donate that for them. So
I don't mean to take a step back from the seriousness of this topic, but did you just advocate for the frequency of tornadoes?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you said we don't want the perishables to go bad, because that means no more tornadoes.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry. Yeah, the opposite of that.
Okay. I was going to say,
I do not like tornadoes.
A great relief group is a relief group that never has to work. However, I do agree. I'm sorry I misunderstood that. I think that's a pretty black and white topic or subject. I think it's pretty simple to say, a tornado is one of the most unorganized disasters that can happen. All we need in that time is organization. An organized relief group is genius. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, once again, but that's what we're here for. I hope to see this go somewhere as well, and I'm happy that we were able to talk about it tonight. Any other new business that needs to be discussed tonight?
I would like to propose
seen an improvement to the downtown portion of West Milton in order to make the village just look good and be more presentable. And as in like renovating building fronts, creating more picturesque areas around town, and just planting some flowers or something to just make the town look more presentable.
Absolutely. Anyone have anything to say about that before we move to the resolution?
Yeah, going on your more picturesque looking area, I was thinking of an idea of having a town mural. Our town is so rich in history and pride, and we love our town so much that I think having something that captures that image in our town would just be like a pretty good idea. Like just something that will attract somebody downtown and just to make it look more new and just bring more people downtown.
I'm sure most of you have heard Councilwoman Kopp created a nonprofit called Project Revival. Some of the goals is reviving old businesses, supporting them, and bringing new businesses. I think there was discussion of a mural coming in place, which is obviously great for the community. I think this is just a great nonprofit that really stands for some of the things we believe, and I know a lot of people in our town and outside our town also believe, so I think this is great. Yeah, and we've created a resolution in support of Project Revival.
Yeah, we can move on to the voting on that resolution. Hannah, if you'd like to read resolution MU-20-02, that would be great.
Resolution MU-20-02, a resolution supporting the implementation of Project Revival for the central downtown of West Milton. Whereas the Milton Union AP Government Senior Council, after reviewing commerce and business statistics along North and South Miami Street, has identified multiple instances where the commercial value of local businesses could be greatly improved. And whereas the Milton Union AP Government Senior Council has learned of a movement coming from several business and community leaders on the creation of a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the goal of improving and growing the West Milton downtown. And whereas a vibrant downtown equals a vibrant community. Now, therefore, it be resolved that by the Milton Union AP Government Senior Council, that Section 1, Council hereby supports the efforts of Councilwoman Sarah Kopp, Shelley Klosterman, and the leadership team of Project Revival. Section 2, as a council, we will support the implementation of all Project Revival efforts through their third Thursday events by participating in them, and we encourage the seeking of grants and other financial means to help support the efforts and goals of this organization. And Section 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately after the first reading and approval by council.
Thank you. Would anyone like to discuss this before we take a vote?
Like I said before, I think this is really important for our town. Supporting old businesses is a huge thing. Our town is great. I think it's beautiful. I think it could be more beautiful, and I think that this nonprofit really has great ideals, and just I think it'll be great for our town, our community, our members, and everyone outside. So yeah.
Absolutely. Are there any motions to accept this resolution?
I would like to make a motion to accept this resolution.
I second that.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Mayor Knipp,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barnes,
Yes.
Council Member Peck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Freisteller,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
Searcy.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to open up the floor to comments from citizens.
Good evening, my name is Sam Taylor, the 612 South Miami Street here in West Milton. I would just like to say thank you for the involvement you guys are showing. Thank you to Mr. Grafflin. This program is great. The commitment that these kids show every year is fantastic. The ideas that you guys are bringing forward tonight are awesome, and it really demonstrates the thought that you guys have put into this. I know that some of them are already being worked on, some of them are probably going to come up sooner or later, so good job. I think you guys have done a heck of a job, and keep it up, and please continue to be involved. your local government is what has the biggest impact on your daily life. So don't forget that, you know. And the more people your age, as you guys come in and get involved, the better. New ideas are great. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You seem like someone who's very involved. Maybe one day you'll be in my chair. You can take it.
West Fall 116 and South Market Street in downtown Troy. First of all, thank you for doing this. This brings back a lot of fond memories for me because at the age of 19, I actually ran for city council in the city of Pickling. I beat by less than 35 votes. A few years later, I ran somewhat upset. I ran for county commissioner at the age of 26, and I won. There was 9 people who had gotten killed at a railroad crossing up in Pickling. It was actually the worst railroad crossing in the United States. And I was a downtown business person at that time. And half the road on the west side was a city responsibility, and half the road was on the east side was a county responsibility. It serviced our high school, it serviced our vocational school, and it also serviced our Edison State Community College. And no one did anything. Elected officials all kind of went like that. I made a phone call to our state senator at the time, and within 10 weeks of that phone call, and with a number of other people getting involved, we were able to cut ribbons on brand new gates. And if you know it, as you guys know, from serving in council, to get railroad gates up at a crossing area in less than 10 weeks is partying the Red Sea, to say the least. But one of the things I would encourage each and every one of you, and that you're all, I believe, all seniors, correct? One of the things I would encourage you is come back to your community, be a part of your community, raise your children, future families here. You know, you're all looking for careers, you're all looking for jobs, you're going to be going out into the world and going to college, going to tech schools, coming back for employment in the Miami Valley. There's over 18,000 jobs right now that's going unfilled. We need you. We need you to come back to your community. Over the next 2 years, at Wright Pat alone, there'll be 15,000 jobs from attrition, from people who are retiring, and they're going to add an additional 5,000 on top of that. That's 20,000 jobs that are going to be available within the next 24 months for you to come back after you get your degrees. Be a part of your community. Thank you for this opportunity. Great job tonight. Have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there anyone else from the audience that would like to speak?
You guys are awesome, and you make me want to cry. That brought tears to my eyes, so thank you for the resolution on that. Okay, let's start with the volleyball courts and just sprucing up the park down there. I love that idea. Here's the tricky part, is the maintenance. So everybody's always gung-ho about, you know, getting it done and down there helping, but the maintenance throughout the years, that's the hard part. So if you guys can brainstorm on that, I know you guys will be going off to college and stuff like that, but that's always the hard part with just improvements. And the garden idea, we love that idea, but the maintaining it is tricky. I don't know if you guys have ever grown a garden, but you've got to weed it every week, you know, so everybody wants to benefit from it and have it, but nobody wants to put the work in. So just a thought, because I love that idea too. Okay, so you guys had talked about festivals, and then I knew you had brought up the third Thursday. Did you guys hear about that? So with Project Revival, this is a brand new nonprofit. We just got federally recognized in January, so we're just starting. We're just planning. We have a very small committee, but we're on the move. We want to improve downtown, and so with that, we're going to start hosting every third Thursday of the month. We're going to have an event downtown. Now, since we just started, we can't have it next month because we're not there yet. Our actual first real event will be in May, which this one you guys won't be able to, I can't talk, participate in because it's a wine walk, but your parents can, okay? So send your parents on a date. be having a putt-putt the next month, where you'll go to all the different stores and do a different hole for putt-putt. So what we're trying to do is have family or friendly events for the family that everybody can come, you know, and enjoy the time there. We're planning on doing a back-to-school block party for you guys in August, I haven't even asked anybody about this, but, you know, maybe shut down a section and just have a band and just have lots of fun up there. So we're just trying to get people excited about our downtown. We're trying to improve it. And I just love to see that you guys have already heard about Project Revival. Who told you about it?
Facebook.
Facebook.
I saw your guys' video. Who was it to? Yes.
Okay, so that's another, is this on TV?
Yes, it is.
And I'll update you on that. We sent a video to HGTV. They were looking for a hometown takeover, and we thought, you know what? We've got a shot at this. Let's send it in. Well, we haven't heard anything yet. They're still in the reviewing process, but I mean, it was a nationwide search, but we met all the criteria, and you never know. Just pray about it. We might hit the jackpot there. So, but other than that, I just want to thank you guys. I think it's awesome to see you excited about our downtown, and I think it's going to cause a ripple effect. Oh, in addition to the mural, yes, we are looking to have a mural done on the corner of Hamilton and 48 there. So there's just kind of a plain gray building, and we're in the process of kind of funding it and designing it right now. So once we get the design finalized, we'll blast that on Facebook too, so you guys can see. And that's just the very first project, and then from there, we're just gonna keep on moving, hopefully. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Scott Hurst, 808 South J Street. A lot of the ideas that you guys have brought forth tonight have been kicked around once or twice before. And I just want to say that sometimes it's just a matter of people of like-mindedness coming together at the same time, the same place to get something really off the ground, because you'll feel like, for example, the farm and the community gardens, it's a great idea. It's like you could leverage the FFA, Future Farmers of America, at school to really come in and do seminars to show people how to prepare the soil. And there's so much stuff to come together, but again, it's one of those things where I'm excited about it, but if there's no one else, it kind of dies on the vine. Pun intended, I guess. So a lot of things like that. It's just a matter of, I guess, having a place to come together, like a council meeting, to discuss such things. So I invite all of you guys to come back all the time. I mean, you get bored on a Tuesday night, and you really want some excitement, you can come to the council meetings and help us shape the town. And as far as the J and Market Street, I think it's a really good idea, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
The floor is still open. Anyone else would like to speak before we adjourn this meeting? Okay. I would like to take this time to thank my council for serving with me tonight, and to thank Mr. Graff for giving me this opportunity. I'm very happy to be up here, mayor for tonight, be the mayor of West Milton for the first time in my life, and hopefully not the last time.
President of the United States.
Whenever I'm president of the United States, or benevolent dictator or something, I'll come back here. I'll write some grants. I'll make this place big. But until then, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to do what I'm doing right now. Thank you to our actual council, to our actual mayor, to our actual manager. Thank you to you guys. You guys are what actually runs the municipality. We're up here pretending like we do it, but you guys get to do it every day. And I know you wouldn't trade that job for some things, and you probably would trade it for other things. But I'm just saying thank you. I know sometimes it can go as a thankless job. It's just something that operates without many people talking about it, but it deserves a lot more recognition. You ordain our lives. You run what we do. You guys you keep this place moving whether we recognize it or not. I would like to just say thank you for that. It's been an incredible opportunity, and I'm happy to have been here tonight, as I'm sure the rest of my councils could agree. I don't think I have anything else to say. I feel like I've kind of worn out my welcome, so. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not, but I'd like to vote to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mayor Nip,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barnes,
Sure.
yes. Chief of Police Tinnerman, yes. Law Director Nutley, Council Members Peck,
Yes.
Smith, yes. Price Miller, yes. Good,
Yes.
Searcy.
Yep.
This meeting is now adjourned.
First time you hit it, it scared me.